From Inwood in New York City, welcome to Inwood Art Works On Air. It's where we meet the musicians, filmmakers, writers, theater makers, and artists of all stripes who make their home what we affectionately call upstate Manhattan. I'm your host, Aaron Sims, and today we welcome theater maker Lauren Britt-Elmore. Dr. Lauren Britt-Elmore has the good fortune to have spent her entire working career in theater. Finding her home in theater as an actor, she eventually found her place as a self-described artist enabler. She has cultivated that role for more than 20 years as a leader and a coalition builder, crafting policy, strategic plans, and leading programs. As a woman with a bachelor's from Wesleyan University, an MFA from Columbia University School of the Arts, and a doctorate from Harvard Graduate School of Education, Lauren initially planned her career as an administrator in arts higher education. She served as director of academic administration of the theater program at Columbia University School of the Arts, director of academic affairs at New School of Drama, and co-produced the first ever online course at Harvard's Education School and co-taught a course at the Harvard Extension School. However, fate and values moved her on a parallel path, and now she's proud to be the inaugural executive director of the Flea Theater, an established institution, newly transformed. With her leadership team, she garners and utilizes resources to fulfill the Flea's new mission to support and invest in experimental art by Black, brown, and queer artists. We're going to talk to her about her journey to here and now and all around. But first, let me welcome you, Lauren, to Inwood Art Works On Air. So glad to have you here today.
It's a pleasure
You
for this
bet.
to be my inaugural podcast.
And see, you're just knocking them out.
I am knocking them out with the first.
You really are. Well, how are you?
I'm good. It's good to see you, my friend, and my neighbor.
I know.
Yes.
She literally lives. That's the beauty of New York. You're surrounded by incredibly talented people, but particularly Inwood is full of incredibly talented people.
It's filled with artists and art leaders, and it's great to. You can talk business and dogs in like the same conversation.
And she has a dog, if you didn't know.
Yes, I have
You want
a
to tell
dog.
about your dog?
Yes, my dog's name is Leroy. Leroy Jenkins Jackson Jr. the Third.
Do that 5 times real fast.
And he's a 5-year-old Shih Tzu that I adopted. I rescued from Atlanta.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Thank you.
And how did you find your way to Inwood?
How did I? Oh, so I had left New York. I'd lived in New York for 8 years. I lived in Morningside Heights when I was at grad school at Columbia. Then I lived in Sugar Hill, and then I bought an apartment in Brooklyn. And I'd been living in Brooklyn. I got into Harvard, and when I left New York that time, I said I was never going. I was never coming back. I was done with New York. Fast forward to now I have to find a job after my degree from Harvard, and a job opened up at my alma mater, not on purpose. And it was a job where I got to actually use my degree, which sadly I wasn't expecting. And so because it was a director level position at Columbia, it came with a lot of perks, including a sort of an office that just helps people relocate that I had access to. So I got in touch with a broker, and I had learned from my time in Boston that I needed trees. One of the biggest problems with my first go around in New York was I wasn't close enough to nature, and it was wearing away at me. So I told my broker, I need trees. And she said, in New York? Yes. And she said, and you haven't been working in a decade? You've been in grad school? Yes. And she said, okay. And she showed me Inwood. And I've...
Sold.
So yeah, exactly. I mean, my first apartment was... My first apartment was 600, which people in Inwood know is like the corner of the world.
Yeah.
So I was across the street from a big park, and then I moved 1 block east, and now I'm a block away from the park, and I'm very happy. So that's how I found Inwood.
I think that's
and
a
I'm
great
never
story.
leaving
And you're never leaving.
until I leave the city. This is my last apartment in New York City, for sure.
Love it. Well,
Yeah.
where else would you want to go?
Exactly.
You know? Exactly. We have it all here.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for taking us on that journey, because you talked about, being through arts administration and the whole rigmarole and not, I mean, how sad is that? I don't expect to use my degree. I've been 10 years trucking away.
I have a degree. I have a doctorate from Harvard, and let's hope I find a job where I get to use what I learned.
I mean, are you listening, parents at home? It's like people are so worried about their kids finding in a high school in New York City. It's like,
just it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It
doesn't matter. But you can't tell a kid that. So
well, and also let's just say, doctorate, and also you're a theater person too.
Yeah,
and that's a whole other set of crazy circumstances that don't apply to other we'll just say livelihoods. People look at us as different people, like we are somewhat lesser perhaps in many ways, or illegitimate perhaps to others that have accounting CPA degrees. Maybe
I feel like it's I think societally and culturally we have a high value of the arts, but we don't value the people who make it. And we don't value the level of work that it takes to make it because people associate arts with their emotional response to it. So they think, well, I feel good. This feels fun. It must have been easy and good and fun to make. Not understanding that the effects of all of the societal issues we suffer from and we are affected by as well. Like everyone talked about the manufacturing and the cost of manufacturing, and everyone talks about the tariffs in relation to manufacturing and stuff, but that affects theater production as well. Like you have to budget for the increase of costs of building sets now because of exactly the same thing. So I think there's a sense that for people who, I'm speaking specifically of theater and performing arts, but because you go in and you feel good and you feel fun and this feels lovely, then everything around it just must be easy and fun. Therefore, you must not be as serious a person as a CPA, per se.
Right.
You know?
And it's obviously not the case.
It's so not the case. You have to be very hardworking to be in the arts.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, it kind of leads me to like down the road of like, when you hear the definition of an administrator, you conjures the image of, you're a desk job stuck in a high rise and you're punching in, you're punching out. And, kind of going along the lines of what you just said, it's like you and I both know too well that is not the case. So how would you describe to non-theater people tuning in, so what you do as an artist enabler, as an artist enabler, as an administrator?
Yeah. So that's why I use the term artist enabler, because it's taken on various forms throughout my life. I studied my MFA is in dramaturgy from Columbia, and that way I was enabling writers to make sure that what they meant to say, what they mean to say, is actually heard from in the audience. And like I worked at Helen Merrill, and which was an agency that represented the non-actor theater makers.
Shout out to Patrick Harold.
Yeah, Patrick Harold, one of my first bosses. And there I was enabling artists to get paid what they're worth and be able to have what they need when they were doing a show. And in this job at the Flea, I really feel that my job is twofold. One is garnering resources. So it's just the way of the world here. I spend most of my time fundraising, most of my time looking at grants, reviewing grants that are amazing grant writer writes, finding new foundations to reach out to, building relationships with foundations, meeting with foundations, and with people, and talking to people, telling people about our work, organizing events where people can be introduced to our work or to feel close to the Flea so they can continue to support the Flea. That's a huge part of my job. But the second part of my job, which is really where I get the most enjoyment, is the scaffolding, I call it. Now my staff now uses my terms. They're like, yes, so the scaffold that you build for us, because I use the term all the time.
Scaffolding, right?
Yeah.
Right, boss?
Yeah, I'm
right?
scaffolding. Look at me scaffolding.
I'm going to ask off for a week tomorrow, okay?
We've got a scaffold on the beach.
Exactly.
So I really enjoy organizational structure. That's what I studied a lot at Harvard, like organizational theory and organizational structures that bring out the best in the people that are in them.
Yeah.
And so I'm working on creating the policies, the sort of the informal rules, the protocols, everything about the way that we work together, work internally and externally. And I think of it, and I'll shut up because I know I talk way too long.
No. Keep
Okay.
going.
I think of it as the stronger the scaffolding, the farther out the artistry can go because the scaffold is really strong, right?
Yeah.
So we do experimental art, so that's already pretty far-reaching.
Yeah.
We do experimental art for marginalized communities that forces us to reach out even further.
Yep.
And so I'm trying to build a structure that's so strong that our artists can really go, and the people who work with the artists can really go as far as they can and know they won't.
People don't actually appreciate, I think, the structures that have to exist for the people to do their work. And I think that's basically, I feel like the jobs of the administrator, of the arts enabler too, is like saying, there's positions that we have to put people in place to succeed. And that's basically, the two ways you're saying the two major prongs of your work is saying like, and if those worlds don't exist, how can the work be done?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. It's setting everyone up for success. And because I'm the because I'm the executive director, not the artistic director, it's important that I set not just the artistic team up for success,
Right.
but the production team and our operations team
Yeah.
and all of my staff. I have to set them up for success too. We also own our building, which is
Major.
one, it's major, and two, I am realizing every day what an endangered species we are, that we have a space, that we are the size that we are, and we own our space. That's the key. Like right now, it's just only the bigwigs.
Yeah. It's true.
So we have to set the building up for success. So that's how I'm thinking about my work.
I think it's great. And the fact that it's off Broadway
Yeah.
and off,
Yep, both.
because it's both. I don't know who else does that. I don't know. Maybe La Mama, I guess. Is the
La
only,
Mama,
is the only other
maybe.
one.
I
could possibly
don't
think
know
of.
the size of Here's stages, but
Right.
they might be.
Here it might be. Yeah.
Might be, yeah, but I mean, there's just so few. Like, I should know the stats because there are so few of us.
And you're all in the relatively the same place.
Yeah,
Or
yeah. Isn't that interesting?
all down downtown.
We're all down downtown.
But yours is a brand new building, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And those are not so much.
Not so much,
but still fascinating.
Yeah.
But one thing I also wanted to bring into that, it's kind of maybe like a part B to that conversation of like being I love, like I said, the artist enabler, because it is about the art. It's about what happens at 8 p.m. curtain time and all the work's going to it, because what I didn't include in your bio earlier is that along the way you've held, we'll say, quote, more a quote unquote a artistically acceptable societal positions, like saying like a director. Oh, I know what a director does. And he's creative positions in various productions and behind the scenes. That you've done literary associate. You mentioned Helen Mirror, of course, but I think there's a misconception all along the lines, and I want to hear your 2 cents on it, about that art, specifically theater leaders, are not creative, and how important were those? My point is, like, I think where I'm going with this. How important were those experiences to help form you, and show how you approach your work, and so you can deal with those creatives because you've walked in those shoes. But maybe you can teach them a thing or two about your work as a creative, being the ED.
That's a juicy question. I think anyone who's doing theater at some level, not to say that we don't deserve to get paid what we're worth, but that is part of the compensation. Like, we love, like, if I can take my leadership experience and I can take my organizational experience and work in a place where I can make way more money. But I love the theater and I love the arts, and I can't actually imagine doing anything else. Even when I thought higher education administration was going to be my path, I was only going to work for art schools. And again, another fortunate thing that I have been able to work at two art, like theater programs.
Right.
That's the only place I think I would feel comfortable. I don't think I could work at a business school. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Your heart's not there.
Yeah, exactly. So I think in terms of having a creative practice or had a creative practice or having valued that at any time, it does several things. One, it gives you street cred, right? So I can talk as soon as I say, oh, if I'm talking about a play to an artist and I say, oh, that's my dramaturgy training coming into fact, they'll say, oh, like they'll be like, oh, we can take her, we can actually listen to her because she knows something about theater. So that gives me street cred to artists. It does help me understand what the experience of a rehearsal room is like. I know the hell of Tech Week intimately. I know, like, I can do it. So even though I know the hell of Tech Week and I don't have to do it, so I can appreciate it so much more. I can just go in for the final run through, or the invited dress and be like, but I've been there.
Yeah.
And then I think also you have to, if you're any good at leading, at administrating, at managing, you have to be creative because no 2 days are the same. No. And if you're not able to be nimble, if you're not able to brainstorm or get ideas by talking to someone else, if you're not able to see this line that you have to go down, but also see other paths at the same time, then you're not really a good administrator of anything in any field. So I think creativity is a part of just being a leader in general.
Yep.
Yeah.
So file that away, folks who don't think administrators in the theater or in general don't have a background or working knowledge or appreciation, because we're all creative types.
Yes,
we really
exactly.
are.
You have to be.
So let's fast forward here to your current role. We're talking about the Flea a little bit here. We're talking larger things and zooming in at the Flea. You've a couple years under your belt now.
Yeah.
Not a spring chicken anymore with right out of the coop into the or frying pan to the fire.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you want to say and all that?
You choose your metaphor.
Exactly.
Choose your apocalyptic metaphor.
But being the inaugural, if anything, again going back to that, is that they've had structures in the past, and obviously it's a new job, but it's a new position from the top down, and I know it's a with Nigel as the artistic director. So can you talk a little bit about the challenges and also the blessings of having co-leadership?
Oh yeah, so I think it was a learning curve for both of us, and when I say both of us, I mean the Flea and me. So they'd never had an executive director before, and I'd never been an executive director before. So both of us were going
couldn't lose.
Yeah, we were like, does any of us know what we're doing? So I think my learning curve was sharper than I think it could have been, one, because they couldn't train, they didn't know how to train me or to introduce me to the world of EDism, and I didn't have anything to rely on. I had my skill sets and I had parallel experiences, but I couldn't say, well, as an ED somewhere else, this is how we did it.
Right.
So I would say the beauty, that was actually one of the blessings of co-leadership, was that I had Nigel, who had been acting as both the executive director and the artistic director for 3 years, basically. He had been doing it all. Yeah. So he, as much as he was happy to knock those meetings off his calendar, he was like, oh, that's you now. Such glee. It was wonderful. He was also a really solid resource for me to say, okay, what is this? What's the relationship? Yeah. What's the what's the landscape of this world or this environment or this person or this?
He can hand some things off to you rather you both being fresh coming on at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and he was also really amazing at being honest about his struggles when he first came into the role. So he's been with the Flea now. We just celebrated his 10th anniversary last year with a rip-roaring rocking party called 10-Year Tenure. And he talked about his struggles being, this was the first time he'd ever been an artistic director. So we shared a lot of stories, and he was very honest about his struggles, which actually helped me feel less alone. The challenges, I would say, actually, I'm now starting to experience, they're all internal, I think, and so I wouldn't change a thing about the way we run, in terms of the joy and the support and the idea generation and the fruitfulness of the sort of the meat of running the theater. Having smart people at the table is just nothing but good. I will say though, now that I know what I'm doing a little bit more, I have to, I'm no longer just sitting and listening. So I have to start to articulate my perspective in a different way, and also articulate, which is kind of a new thing. And I don't know if it's because I'm a woman. I don't know if it's because I'm a Black woman, but I've been very much saying a lot more like, no, this is how I'm going to make my decision. And you all are just going to have to deal with it. And I don't do it in a mean way at all, but like, I'll give you an example. It was a minute issue, literally a minute issue about how we were going to handle someone sitting in our theater waiting for a show, something. But it was a family member of a donor, and it was this. What should we do? That we want, they just want to leave. They want to leave this person in the lobby while I go to do this thing. What should we do? And everyone was chiming in on an email thread, and I said, I don't know how to make this decision yet. I need to think on it. So I wrote, this email has been received. All your responses have been received. I need a minute to think on it. I'll let you know. Yeah. And then I just thought on it. And that, even though that's a silly thing, or I don't know, a simple thing, it felt empowering to be able to say that. It felt, empowering and powerful to say, this is my decision, but I'm not going to make the decision the way you may want me to. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do it my way, so I feel confident it's the right decision. So that I'm doing a lot more. Because before I was like, I don't know what the decision is. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? And now I'm like, no. I think I know. I just need time.
You're going in. You're approaching with more confidence and from your experiences, and also including people at the same time as that you're including people, so you can make a decision. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, exactly. No, there isn't anything wrong with that. But you would be surprised how rare that experience is for certain people. So
gotcha.
It was rare for me.
Gotcha. Well,
it's becoming less rare though, so that's good.
Okay. Great. Yeah. Well, not to go into the entire mission change of the Flea, and so it's been a 10-year thing since Nigel's been a part of it, and for those, and I feel that itself, it's its own podcast. That we don't have, and also
that's season 8.
And to be fair, so much has been written about it, and in the previous culture of the theater that I don't feel I need to really acknowledge it here.
Thank you.
But I want to say, because this ties into our conversation about administration, that I think it's in you, is that the new mission centers on supporting work by Black, brown, and queer artists, as we said, and it's funny, like, on one hand, you have this company, have this large constituency and history doing all this other stuff. And so a very long history, but with a new focus, it's almost like a new company.
It is a new company.
And so it's like starting from scratch. Yep. And so this is why I think it's pertinent to the conversation we're having, is saying, how have you and your team approached retaining, but also attracting new audiences and foundations. And my point is, like, soup to nuts, it's like, okay, it's like, do you strip mine the old, and do you and do you you're approaching hat in hand to people brand new, as if yet you have all this history. It's like, we've been around, we're established, but yet you're not the same company. So I'm just curious. I find it fascinating. I really do.
How to navigate the past.
Yeah.
Trying to take the good, acknowledge the bad, but bring it into the new.
Yes.
So I will start up by saying, no, that is one of the most exciting parts of my job. Actually, I'm really that like gets my fires going. But I will say one of the things that gets my fires going about it is my ignorance. So let me explain. First, I didn't go to the old Flea. I just, that kind of art that was like, I don't
Wasn't your
so
thing.
it wasn't my thing. So primarily heard about the Flea from the post 9/11 play that Sigourney Weaver and Bill Murray did, and then like blew up and went all over the place. But that was it. Yeah. So I have no emotional or any kind of issues with any of the past administration and leadership of the team. I don't know them.
Right.
I've seen pictures, but that's
Right.
it. Second, I wasn't in the theater industry directly during COVID. So that's when the refounding really started, was during COVID. That's when what I say, like it blew up and we became a phoenix out of the ashes.
Yep. The new company.
Yeah, a brand new company out of that. But because I wasn't in the theater directly in the theater world during COVID, I also don't have those emotional scars. So I know what it felt like to try to run a theater school over Zoom.
Yeah.
Those I have that trauma.
You have those scars.
Yeah, I have those battle scars.
I think we all have the Zoom scars
like
from COVID.
Trying to keep students engaged on Zoom, but I don't have this. So I come in with fresh eyes, which actually helps me tackle this challenge in an exciting way and not it's daunting. I'm just like, ooh, this is what's interesting about this. So I will say, full transparency, that's one of our values. I didn't have to try to keep any of the old leadership or the old supporters or anything like that, because they all just broke out. A lot of them, they just left. And so again, Nigel, who is amazing in so many ways, Nigel and the team that was left and the board that was left rebuilt relationships with some major partners, which helped us keep going. And then it was like, ooh, what's that over there? They're going to that party? What's that elite party? And then more funders were like, oh, what's that elite party? And then because we actually are a party with substance, because we are practicing what we preach, because we're trying and actively doing things different every single day, then more people wanted to join our party. And so that's been really exciting to have so much pride in the organization that I'm working for, to truly believe in it, makes it easy. I thought fundraising and resource gathering would be the hardest thing. It's actually the most fun, because I can just be like, look at how awesome we are. We're so great. Look how great we are.
You keep inviting people to keep coming over, right?
Yeah, exactly. So the dance is now, because I just like a challenge, now I'm in the process of trying to bring those who left back, because it is in a lot of ways a new organization. So people who had issues with us before, it's me reintroducing us to them, saying, actually, we are worth your time now. I understand you were trepidatious before, you didn't know what was going to happen,
right? But
we're here now. We're here. We're sticking around. You should come join our party.
Awesome.
So that's the fun part for me.
I love it. I love it. Well, thanks for the answer, because I feel like it's meaty. You know what I mean? It's a meaty challenge for you.
Yeah.
And then I think you're approaching it wonderfully.
Thank you.
All of you are. Collectively.
Yeah. I think also one of the things I want to add too is the new community that we've built. They are, again, it happened strategically, but it also happened organically. And a lot of the work that we've been doing around empowering the voices of our community to be our voices too, to say, bring your friend to the Flea, so it's not a message on high saying, oh, this is a place you want to go. It's friends telling friends telling friends, you have to see this show here. You have to go into this space. It's different than any other space you've been in. Like that part of the work, and seeing I call them stands. That's what I'm trying to create, Flea stands. That are just like ride or die for the Flea. I that's what I'm trying to build, like a community of like Flea stands. You know?
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
I could tell.
Thank
I
you.
can tell you can see the passion for it.
Yeah.
So I love it.
Thank you.
Well, you've kind of hit on strategic planning. You've hit on, relevant mission-driven things.
Have I ruined your interview
No,
structure?
it's wonderful. My point is
Okay.
these are all salient points, because we don't get to have culture makers on the podcast very often, and people need. It's great to all hear a musician and talk about process, but I don't think people talk about administrators / like I said, talk about the process of creating from the side of, laying the foundation for the work to be done.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
and I think this is very valuable for people to hear.
Thank
So what
you.
advice would you give someone if they were starting out and wanted to walk a path similar to yours?
My path is it's not a straight one. So I'm thinking of the tattoo that's on my back that is this ink print called Jungle Gym, and it is all kinds of intricate places. That's sort of the way my path has gone. I would say if you have a passion, so this can't be, there's a lot of people in this work, Aaron, I'm sure you've experienced this too, when you meet with people who have defaulted into leadership or organizational or being on the back end of things. Sort of like I was a director for several years and I stopped being able to get work. And so now I'm, the director of development somewhere or something like that. I wouldn't recommend that. I wouldn't recommend administration if that is where you're thinking.
Like a safe job.
Yeah, like as a safe job.
My day job, my safe job, and I'm in the industry.
Yeah, no, it's not safe.
It's not safe for those around you.
No, exactly. That means you're not doing the job well. I would say, let's think. I would say if you, in the experiences that you're having in whatever artistic practice you're following, if you aren't getting the joy from the doing, but you like the setting up of the doing, if I'm sorry, I'm just talking about me. Like, I liked acting. I thought I was sort of good at it, but I wasn't great at it. And it wasn't, but researching my roles. And when I was a stage manager in college, that lit my fire. Like organizing the rehearsal schedule. Oh my God, that was amazing. That I was like, file save those experiences. I would say that's my first bit of advice. So don't ignore the parts of the art making that excite you, even if it's not the actual doing. Just file save those, because there is a place for you in the ecosystem of the arts for someone who really likes organizing. For instance, stage management, they are nothing. They have to be excellent organizers and puzzle put togetherers. And then the second thing I'll say is you have to be a really good listener. And you have to be a learner, someone who at least appreciates learning. Because if you're going into a position, I'm thinking of leadership primarily, but any position where you want to affect change, that's how I'll say it. If you want to affect change and you're just looking for a place to put like a stamp of approval on your own thoughts, you're not good at your job. So you have to be able to listen to other people's experiences, the effects of your decisions on other people, on how other people have made that decision. You just have to listen and have that be in your file save, be in so that when it's time for you to actualize it, you can take that into account. And then finally, make sure you're working for an organization you believe in. It just makes the work so much easier. I've worked for places that I didn't believe in, or who I didn't think they were living their values. And even though I found those pockets or those kernels of inspiration to keep me going back to work every day, it's not the same. It's just not the same as if, like, you've had this experience too. Like, you're doing what you are honestly passionate about. So if, like, when I pass by to walk my dog and I've seen you at your desk for like 3 hours, like, and then I walk my dog again hours later and you're still at your desk, you're still, like, because you're passionate about it, it makes you be able to stay at your desk for hours.
Absolutely.
So find either a person, I wouldn't say less a person, but a place, a culture, something that you are passionate about, that you can be proud to be a part of, because that will make the work so much easier.
Great advice. Great advice. I love it. I love it.
You.
Well, Lauren, thank you so much
Yes,
for all
I
you
hope I
do
didn't talk your ear
to keep.
off.
No, that was the whole point, actually.
Yeah, that's true. It's an interview.
The one time in your life
I
you
know
could
that
say,
I get to talk.
but well, thank you for one and for all you do to keep theater alive,
Thank you.
particularly for Black, Brown, and queer folk,
Thank you.
but any folk for that matter.
Yes,
and
you are all welcome.
exactly, and to all your work you're doing at the Flea, and it's been a pleasure speaking with you and taking the time. Where can we send people if they want to know more about the Flea, for instance?
Thank you for asking. They can go to The Flea, one word, flea like the bug, .org. There they can see what we just did in 2025. Soon you'll be able to see what's coming up for 2026.
Woo-hoo!
And you can sign up for our newsletter. That's another way to stay involved. And then most importantly, you can support us on our annual appeal, which is called Embraces. So actually, after this, I'm going to go home and rebuild our support website so that you can like easily see all the key art for our annual appeal.
And without the support, you can't do the work.
Exactly.
There you go.
Yes. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. It's been
This was
great.
wicked fun.
Well, I'm glad we've broken you in,
Yes, I know.
and now you can talk forever.
I'll talk to podcasts, but I'll never forget my first.
Oh, so sweet, so sweet. Well, listeners, please go to the Flea and support Lauren's work there and all the great work being done. Thanks again to Lauren Britt-Elmore for joining me on this Culture Maker episode for the Theater Maker at Inwood Art Works on air. So again, it's where you meet the musicians, writers, theater makers, and artists of all stripes to make their home what we affectionately call upstate Manhattan here in Inwood, NYC. Many thanks to Good Shepherd here for hosting us, and to HideSites.com for uptown promotional support. Hey, and by the way, you could support On Air and Inwood Artworks and all of our programming by going to inwoodartworks.nyc/donate or via Venmo at Inwood Artworks, and whatever you give, we greatly appreciate it. Help this free program thrive. Also, you can support On Air and all of its program by rating it 5 stars on Apple Podcasts or YouTube, or wherever platform you're listening to. We greatly appreciate it. Follow us on social media to keep up all that we do, which includes the Inwood Film Festival, Filmworks Al Fresco, pop-up art galleries, live performances, and so much more. Inwood Artworks On Air is proud to be supported in part by public funds from the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs in partnership with the City Council, and Inwood Artworks programming is made possible by the New York State Council on the Arts with support of the Office of the Governor and the New York State Legislature. From the top of Manhattan and the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for tuning in. This is Aaron Sims for Inwood Artworks On Air.